Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 570 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky informed in his evening video address that Ukraine is planning to host the Defense Industries Forum this autumn. According to the president, already 86 leading defense companies from 21 countries confirmed their participation in the forum. Quote, "Our task is absolutely clear: to provide Ukraine with all the opportunities to produce weapons and ammunition, to provide modern technology, to have reliable protection against any form of aggression," unquote, said Zelensky. He added that Ukraine is ready to share its defense experience among allies and partners. Forbes Ukraine assessed that in a year and a half since the start of its full-scale invasion, Russia spent about $167 billion on the war against Ukraine. $34 billion worth of equipment were destroyed by Ukraine's armed forces alone. According to Forbes, Russia spends about $300 million a day on its war against Ukraine. This estimate does not include constant defense spending not related to military operations, as well as economic losses of the aggressor country. The main item of expenditure of the Russian Federation on the war in Ukraine is ammunition and military support of the army. The total cost of this is $51 billion. At the same time, the Russians spent over $9 billion on providing the Russian artillery in a year and a half of the Great War. The total cost of missiles fired on the territory of Ukraine has already reached a hefty sum of more than $21.1 billion. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russian invasion of Ukraine. Starting at midnight on September 17, Poland banned cars registered in Russia from entering its territory, reports European Pravda. Minister of Internal Affairs of Poland Mariusz Kamiński stressed that this applies to all cars, both commercial and private, regardless of whether the car is driven or owned by a citizen of Russia or a citizen of another country. He added that this is another element of the sanctions imposed on Russia and its citizens in connection with the brutal war in Ukraine, given that Russia is now a threat to international security. The day before, Finland made the same decision, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia earlier this week. The Ukrainian national team has finished its performance at the Invictus Games 2023 held in Düsseldorf, Germany, with its best result in history, 34 medals including 12 gold, reports Suspilne Sport. The Invictus Games is an annual competition for wounded service personnel. Ukraine was represented by its largest lineup in its history with 25 participants. Among them were military personnel and veterans of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the National Guard, the National Police and volunteer battalions. Ukraine won 34 medals, 12 gold, 14 silver and 8 bronze. The most titled representative of the Ukrainian national team was Nazar Voznyuk, a serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine who earned 6 medals for his team. 4 gold medals and 2 silver medals in swimming and rowing on simulators. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.